Cain Dingle is on the verge of losing everything in Emmerdale. His marriage, his well-being, perhaps even his life. And in a bitter stroke of misfortune, Butler's farm could soon slip through his fingers as well. The hard-headed Dales icon is battling the most painful ordeal he has ever faced. And in this village, that is no small claim. He has been diagnosed with prostate cancer, while his wife Moira sits in prison accused of murder and human trafficking, having been set up from beyond the grave by the wicked Celia Daniels. Determined to clear Moira's name, Cain is pouring all his strength into securing her release, telling no one about his illness except his granddaughter, Sarah Sugden. As if his situation were not dire enough, Butler's farm is crumbling without Moira at the helm. Disaster strikes when a tree crashes onto a barn, placing an entire flock of sheep at risk. At the same time, Tate, the privileged heir of Home Farm, is intent on seizing Butlers for himself. He arranged for Robert Sugden to plant false evidence there, ensuring Moira would take the blame for Celia's offences. Each passing day brings new pressure, and it is wearing down even the most dangerous of the Dingles. Most grandchildren might try to ease their grandfather's stress with a peaceful stroll or a puzzle, but Sarah knows Cain too well, and she believes she has the perfect distraction from cancer and Moira's long prison term, a little Grand Theft Auto in real life. From Sarah's perspective, it solves everything. Selling stolen cars could generate money to save the farm, while Cain could vent his anger through the adrenaline rush of taking luxury vehicles. However, upcoming Emmerdale scenes will show just how disastrous this scheme truly is. Another looming crisis for Butlers arrives in the form of a possible TB outbreak, one that could shut the business down entirely. After swiping Tate's car, Cain firmly tells Sarah she will not be part of any further thefts. But will she actually back down? This is so planned, so naturally she will not. Sarah cannot resist when she spots an expensive sports car sitting outside the village hall. She is moments away from driving off when she is caught by her husband, Jacob Gallagher. Unsurprisingly, Jacob is furious to see his wife stealing his employer's flashy car, knowing it could destroy his future in medicine. Bound by her promise to keep Cain's diagnosis secret, Sarah cannot explain the full truth to him. As a result, Jacob storms off to confront Cain, blasting him over Sarah's criminal antics. Charity Dingle soon joins the outrage, angrily demanding to know why Cain would endanger his granddaughter's freedom. Unable to reveal the truth, Cain retreats rather than expose his weakness. Later, he is lost in thought, as usual, when the only other villager aware of his condition, Dr. Liam Kavanagh, approaches him. Gently pointing out that stealing cars with Sarah might indicate that hiding his cancer is not the wisest choice, Liam urges Cain to lean on his family for support during this critical time. Cain is left seriously considering his advice. Eventually, Sarah vents her frustration, admitting she is tired of being the sole keeper of his secret and accusing him of cowardice for refusing to confide in those closest to him. With cancer hanging over him, Moira imprisoned, and Joe relentlessly pushing to buy the farm, it seems Butlers is at the heart of all their misery. Even Graham Foster, the Tate's loyal enforcer, suggests that selling the property may be the only sensible option. The question now remains, will Cain finally let the farm go? Farewell Tate. Two major hints suggest Ned Porteous could be exiting Emmerdale. Fans of Emmerdale are increasingly convinced that Tate's run in the village might be nearing its end. After months of drama surrounding the character, many viewers suspect the soap could be quietly setting up his exit. Since his return in 2024, Joe has struggled to win over the locals. From kidney thefts to blackmail, his schemes have left both villagers and audiences unimpressed. Recently, two developments have sparked fresh rumours that his storyline may be heading for a dramatic twist. Is Tate leaving Emmerdale? Ned Porteous shares fresh headshots. Over the weekend, actor Ned Porteous, who plays Tate, posted new photos on Instagram. Rather than simply receiving praise, the images raised concern among fans. They were professional headshots. Soap audiences often interpret new headshots as a potential signal that an actor is auditioning for another role. something that has happened with previous Emmerdale cast members. It didn't take long for viewers to comment with questions. One person wrote, "I hope this doesn't mean you're leaving Emmerdale." Another asked, "Stunning photos, but you're staying in Emmerdale, right?" The speculation quickly moved beyond Instagram, with discussions spilling over to Reddit, particularly in connection with a Friday episode scene that some think hinted at a hidden message. Home farm scene fuels Tate exit rumours. In a recent episode, Kim told Graham that while 9 people currently live at home farm, she wanted the number reduced to 8. Though she seemed to mean Joe, some fans saw it as a hint of a bigger departure. On Reddit, one viewer wrote, "Something has to change with Joe. In Friday's episode, Kim said she wanted 8 people at home farm. Could this foreshadow Joe leaving?" And Ned posted new headshots. That often signals an actor's exit. Another added, "I feel like the writers are setting him up for a downfall." Some viewers think Graham could be the one to expose the Tate's secrets, reunite Moira with her home, and reclaim the farm. Others suggest Joe might not die, but lose everything, with one fan commenting, "Watching him start from scratch would humble him." Some believe the foreshadowing could even point to Dawn instead. For now, nothing is confirmed, but Joe's future in Emmerdale remains under intense scrutiny. Aaron revisits his childhood abuse to help Bear in Emmerdale. Beowulf is struggling to cope with the trauma inflicted by Ray Walters and Celia Daniels, as well as the guilt over killing Ray, and so far, no one has been able to help him. Months of manipulation, gaslighting, and drugging by Ray left Bear mentally shattered, unable to see that he and others were being held as modern-day slaves on Celia's farm. Even after his friend Anya, Alia al-Shabibi, died from untreated injuries, and he had to bury her himself, Bear clung to the belief that Ray was protecting him. When he killed Ray while defending Paddy Kirk, he was overwhelmed by guilt and unable to process what had happened. Paddy and others have tried to support him, and Laurel Thomas encourages Bear to talk about his trauma, but nothing has eased his pain. The funeral sends him spiraling, and he begins craving the painkillers Ray once supplied, believing they are the only way to cope. Help arrives when Cain Dingle, who has faced his own traumatic past, steps in. Aaron, who was sexually abused as a child by his father Gordon Livesey, shares his experiences with Bear. Back in 2016, Aaron bravely confronted his abuser, which eventually led to Livesey being convicted. Last year, he revisited these feelings when supporting Ruby Milligan, who suffered similar abuse. By opening up to Bear, Aaron reaches him in a way no one else has. He reassures Bear that, as a fellow survivor, he should not blame himself for what happened. While Bear admits he doesn't know the full story, he begins to take Aaron's advice seriously and starts to consider different perspectives. With Aaron's guidance, this could mark the beginning of Bear's journey toward healing. Emmerdale airs weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.